So quickly, we'll be going into our last discussion so that we can take some very good questions that have come in, and I want us to be able to do justice to it before we sign out. So Irene, are you ready to go with reaching out to unserved and underserved family groups? Are you ready? Irene? Irene? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes. All
okay.
right. Okay. So this perspective comes from the work that we do at the North Conrad Naira Day School. I don't know if we are aware, but UNESCO says that 83% of Nigerian kids go to public schools. That's a huge amount that's a lot of people. And in 2018, when we became the world's poverty capital, you would know it was more than being in public school. It was about not even being in school at all. So by the time COVID-19 comes and the reality is online learning, the kids in this 83%, a large chunk of them cannot access online learning. And we do know that, I'm talking about 83% being in public schools. We have low-end private schools who can't even think about online learning. So because learning is important for every child, regardless of the divide they are born in, one of the things we did at our school at the NOSC was to provide workbooks. We provide 1 week's content of learning, and we send it to them. Why did we decide to do that? Number one, poor kids desperately need quality education because education is their ticket out of poverty. Sure. I know there are people who say education is not what it is. Well, that's when you have the luxury of a lot of things. Choice. But for the poor kid, that's their only ticket. That's the only thing that puts them on the platform, right? Their parents' money may not be able to do anything, but if they can get those great grades, they can earn scholarships, and the journey out begins for them. So when you have, so what it means is, first, children in this catchment are usually behind. So I teach JSS 1, and I can tell you my children are not reading at JSS 1 pace, which means you're taking them out of public school systems. The systems don't work as much as they should. So the kids are already behind. Then COVID-19 happens, the kids are totally disconnected. So what we did was produce workbooks. And in the workbooks, it has to be simple language. You know, I said earlier, keep it light. The teacher is not in there. You want the child to be engaged in the whole learning experience. So we have to keep it light. So we're doing those workbooks. Then we have puzzles in the workbooks. Then we have social dashboards in the workbook. We ask them for fun questions that when we are producing the next batch of workbooks, we put everybody's picture so the children can say, oh, Ebuka said this, oh, this one said this, so that it gives them an element of connectivity even though they are apart. Now, everybody sitting in this room right now listening to me is privileged. Everybody listening right now, you may not realize it, but you're privileged. Someone asks 100 naira a day, school fees, books, uniforms, meals, sanitary pads, and I say some people still owe. Some hardworking people still owe. It's not every time that is a point of irresponsibility. Some hardworking people still owe. Some of those families we're talking about have dependents from the village because they made it to Abuja, they are the privileged in the families. So the younger brother sends this. So you have families of 9 kids. So why am I having this conversation? More people need to ask about these kinds of kids. How are they learning at this time? More and more people need to be interested. More and more parents, more and more private schools need to be interested. We need to all look beyond us because our children are the minority. Our children are the 17%. And guess what? People live in poverty for so many reasons, including government failures. But see, when people are living in poverty, they don't know who government looks like. They know the family that is living down the street who went to the UK for vacation. They know the family whose children go to this school and all. So eventually, who do they pour the frustration of their poverty on? It's you and I.
They can see.
It's those they can see. They don't know how government, they don't know how different things connect. They just feel like, oh, you're the one that has what I should have been having. If they had shared it equally, you know, those erroneous thinking, if they had shared it equally, everybody would have been fine. So at this point, I'm asking, please, we all need to stretch out of our comfort zones. All right? and look for initiatives that are supporting this catchment of kids. Government says they're on radio. Irene says radio doesn't work. Radio, you can't measure the impact. Children listening to radio are the intelligent ones. They could as well sit down at home and read and learn on their own. It's the bright heads that are listening to radio. And education is for all of them. So find a way. In your neighborhood, you know the children of the security man with 4 children. Buy a workbook. Get a storybook. Reach out to them. Whatever you can do to keep their minds open, do it. We've seen all the incidents of rape. We've seen all the incidents of rape happening now. Young people are sitting down at home, pouring their whole lives into porn with the boredom and the stupidity that comes with idleness, and that is becoming something we can't even explain. We all need to make these kinds of initiatives our business. We all need to go out there and lend support. You need to go out there and find out. I mean, we were on radio last week and put a public school child in Abuja. And when people talk about if you're in the city center is better, well, so imagine what it is like in the villages, in rural areas. So this child is calling, a parent rather is calling to say, I don't know what you people are talking about giving children workbooks at the gate. Our own children's school have not said anything to us since the schools vacated. So we need to make it our business. Do book drives. Ask your children to bring their old books and stuff and go and give it out in the neighborhood. Connect with those children, because our children will not grow up in isolation. They will grow up with these kids. So we all need to make it a personal responsibility. If you live in Nigeria, the world poverty capital, or even if you live in the diaspora, you have to care about the world poverty capital. If it's possible to look for an initiative that you periodically commit to and say, look, let's just be, no matter how little it is, anybody that you find that is turning around to say, okay, let's do for 3, 4, 5 people, as long as you can validate their integrity and the authenticity of the vision, let's be invested in these people. Because I know that my children are not safe with the best education in the world, and 83 children on my street don't have access to that education. My children can never be safe. So we're asking, please, let us contribute. Even private schools, look around, get into the community where your schools are located, to the shanties, to the external communities. Take old books, do book drive, go in a bus, give it out to children, let them read something. Let us contribute to what these kids are doing at this time. So that's it for me. Please, let's not be content that our own kids are comfortable and learning. Let us be concerned about the other kids, but not just concerned. Let's be invested in them. Let's do something to help them this season. There's something we can do. And don't forget that I wish we were having this meeting 2 months ago, because then there would have been so much mileage right now. So by the time school resumes, those kids are going to struggle. And when they struggle, they go to schools where there are 80 in a class. Nobody cares if they came or not. No one is connected to them. So when we started the North School, we started private school standard for kids who would ordinarily go to public schools. So there are 15 in a class. Teacher, there are 5 students to 1 teacher ratio. We know them one-on-one. These are things they've never had in their reality as public school kids. So we are trying to do this because we want them to remember that a group of people came together and decided to give them the quality that their own children were enjoying, because we know that they're a whole generation. So please, let's go out of our way and do whatever we can in our communities, and let our children watch us do these things, so that, you know, we didn't grow up with this culture of giving. When your parents gave to you, that was all. But let us be the generation that changes that paradigm. Let our children watch us connect with people in need, give to people in need, and let's make giving a lifestyle that our children can connect with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you very much. My takeaway is connect. Don't stay in your bubble. Connect. And when you connect, do something about it. Yes. Do something about it. Like, get other people to do something beyond just your own capacity. Thank you very much to my panelists. Thank you. I appreciate you all. We've come to the end of questioning like we had noted. But like I said, we have questions that have come in, and I would love for us to do justice to these questions. Irene, just before I let you go, there's a question that has come in from a single mom, and I think that you're uniquely placed to answer this question. I will read the question out. I think everybody can see it. Please go to your question and answer. Apologies, please, you're going to lose me for 2 minutes. My laptop has run out of charge, but I'm going to connect on my phone right away. But the question is, so that you can do that while I'm not around. The question is, a single mom with an 8-year-old daughter desires the company of a man and wants to get married. How should she present the matter to her daughter? The man in question isn't her daughter's biological father. Irene, please go ahead with answering it, and I will be back shortly.
All right, so anyway, for background, so we live in Nigeria, so NEPA or AEDC, whatever their name is, they've struck, but we're good. So my mom got married when I was 18, and I was already grown. Usually, I don't think that's the best time for single moms to get married because there's competition. You now have an adult who is saying more than, she's a bit too matured for certain things. So what your boyfriend thinks is cool, she's already sizing him up and all of that. It's not a good time. So I like it earlier if you can. I like it earlier if you can. But what your 8-year-old needs is, she wants to just know that this person would be that. She wants to know that this person will care. When I was 8 years old, I'm not sure, when I was much younger, there were a few people that came around and I thought my mom should have said yes to. So I'm going to share some of the things that is in your 8-year-old's head. She wants security. Will this person love me like I'm his own? But she also wants to know, will I be able to have a relationship with you like what we already have? So in talking to your 8-year-old, these are some of the parameters. This is why I think you're safe with him. Don't just say you're safe with him. You want to remind her of scenarios where you were all together and how this person did this and how this person did that and ways this person has shown that they've been thoughtful towards you. Real scenarios. It's not a debate, it's not a pitch. It's real scenarios. And I think the biggest thing your daughter wants to know is, I'm not going to lose mommy. I'm not going to lose mommy, because that was my biggest fear. Even though I was 18 years old, I cared a lot about losing my mom. We'd come such a long way, and my fear was I would lose my mom. So I want to know how we are going to balance it. I want to know, am I going to be relevant? Is mommy, what about our date night? What about this? What about that? What about that? Your daughter wants those questions answered. And I want you to be as honest as possible. I know you do desire to be with a man, but right now, you don't make man decisions anymore for you alone. You make man decisions for you and her. So it has to be something she's really in on. I don't know what your daughter's personality type is. If she's the type that can stall, you need to give her time to come around, because you're now marrying for two. It's now going to be about you and her. She's just as important. If she doesn't feel safe around him, you want to check it out. If she doesn't feel secured around him, you want to check it out. But you also know if you have a petty daughter. All of us know if we know that daughter that wants to, take it a little bit further. But bottom line, what your girl is going to be interested in is what's going to change about our relationship. Am I going to lose my mom? Will this person love me? Am I safe with this person? So those are the 3 pillars you're going to be talking from. But talk from situations that she has been in, so that is something she looks forward to. And remember to also let her know that it's not also going to be perfect, because don't give unrealistic promises. When a new person comes in, a new person comes in. So she will not have you will now have someone else you care about, but you want to assure her that you're going to be doing it together. She just wants to know that I would not lose my mom. I just wanted to know that I will not lose my mom. I just wanted to know that I will not lose my mom. I don't know how I can say this. I just wanted to know that I would not lose my mom. And so that's what matters. So let her know she's not going to lose you. Let her know this person is going to love her, but also let her know the reality that I'm also going to care for this person, that things I'm going to now be responsible for. So you get the idea? Don't make fake promises, because if this person is coming in, this person is not coming for a sleepover. This person is coming to be a part of our lives. So we need to be honest about this person.
Yeah.
What don't you like about this person? What are you concerned about this person? And but essentially, I've told you 2 things she wants to know. Will this person love me? Will I lose my mom? So if you can address those 2 questions, you've started the journey. If you can address those 2 questions, you have started the journey.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Irene. I think that was really in-depth. Can everyone hear me, see me, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much, Irene. I think that was really good. I'm trying to see the other questions. I'm sorry, I'm not. Please tell Mr. B to take the next question. I can't find it. Apologies, please.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your contributions and everything. Irene, you've done justice to all these questions. And Vivian, thank you so much. So I can
Mr. B, we have 4 other questions. We have 4 other questions. Irene answered 1. I don't know why I'm not seeing them.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at the question and I'm trying to take it off from the unserved and underserved question that Irene just discussed now, and just trying to elaborate on it.
That's the Q&A.
It's the Q&A session we're on, Mr. B. Just click on Q&A and you can see the questions.
I can see the questions. Is there?
Okay. Yeah, we can all see the questions.
Please go ahead.
Okay, you've addressed that of the single mom, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so basically the other question is talking about addressing learning difficulty and high achievers as parts of parental mistakes due to comparison, and kindly balance the tendencies in the discussion. Basically, I think these have actually been addressed, and talking about children who may be struggling and children who may actually be high flyers and trying to draw the balance between them. I think that has been addressed. Now, the other question is talking about, as parents, how can I refrain from getting easily irritated when the questions from the kids feels too much? The emotional intelligence that Ebuka talked about earlier on, I think it's actually, on point here. One of the things I want to say at this time is that this video is going to be live. I mean, it's going to be posted on YouTube after we're done with this, and parents can take time to go back there. Guardians as well can actually take their time and look at them and look at the video and be able to connect with it once more. It's a conversation that will keep going on, and it's something that we'll keep learning. I've learned a lot myself, and in these regards, I think emotional intelligence is actually very key. Now, another question is talking about, how do you teach your 7-year-old that he can't watch movies that have adult content, or why you have to fast forward a movie or end it when a sex scene comes up? Well, I don't know which of the parents can help us with this at this time.
Vivian? I'd like to, okay.
Okay, Lara, we'll come back to you. Let's start with Vivian.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So you, as a parent, like Grandma said, you are in charge, right? You already know, if you're asking, that means you already know that that content isn't good for your child, right? So you want to set the boundaries. You want to have your boundaries clear as a parent. You want to determine what your children are exposed to and what they don't have access to. And we also say that you live by example. So you cannot expose them to the things. You cannot give them access to the things that you have told them that they shouldn't have access to, right? So there are some, your 7-year-old shouldn't have access to some certain content. If you watch those movies that have sex scenes, there are age, they will say not suitable for a certain age. So when you read it and it's not suitable for your child's age, then your child has no business watching that particular content. So you want to be able to curate what your children have access to, what they see, what they hear, and the things that they do. So you set the boundaries and you put your feet down and ensure that the boundaries are followed through. That's why you're the parent. That's why you're the kind of like the authority and the guide in the house.
Thank you, Vivian. And I totally agree. I totally agree that even having to watch it and then fast forward and do all that brings up more questions than the enjoyment of the movie. I totally align with her that let's not even give room for those types when they're at the appropriate age that they can watch those kind of. Even personally, I don't totally take the age classifications that they put in some things, because you see some movies that they'll write 13, and honestly, I don't want to expose my 13-year-old to the kinds of things that they're dealing with in that kind of movie. So I think don't even watch those things you have to fast forward, or they just bring up more questions and I dare say more curiosity for them to want to watch it when you're not around.
Yeah, I think
all right,
what
Lara?
what you want to do is limit exposure as much as possible. You want to, make them kids for as long as they can, especially in this technological age where the kids are growing up too fast. As a parent, it's one of the sacrifices of parenting. You can save, such, videos or programs till later. When you're with your kids, you want to watch what is age appropriate, like everybody else has said, their age limits. And, nowadays they've even gone further to tell you the amount of content that is in what you're about to start watching. So you want to prevent exposure, because what we have found out is that, a lot of children are exposed, even in the home setting, to various forms of abuse. And they also are, may in their ignorance or in their innocence, act out what they see. So you shouldn't, even be watching in front of them, in my opinion. And if perchance they were exposed to it, it's okay to fast forward, but it shouldn't be a constant thing watching with them. They have to, have their own age appropriate, the time when they watch TV. Such things can be done later on, in mom and dad's time. After, goes again to routine. Kids sleep a certain time. After that, mom and dad can do what they want to do, but during the time when the kids are awake, let's watch age appropriate things, engage with the kids.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Lara. Thank you.
Hello, Abosade, your mic is mute.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Oh boy.
No, your mic is mute again.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Lara. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Lara. On my end, as moderator, I will be stepping back now. I have to appreciate everyone who's been on this panel today. I think something that came out very strongly for me was how truthful and real you all were. You used examples from your own lives, which made it real. I mean, if you come to this kind of thing and people are being very lofty and very unreal, you don't get anything to take away. And I'm sure that listeners have gained a lot, because we've all tried to be as real as possible today. So I can't but thank you and say thank you for coming on this panel. Thank you for all the prep that you did. I know how much we did back and forth with a number of you, so thank you. I'm handing it over to Granny Murray now to take it away from here and close us out. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure hosting this panel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bosse. Thank you so much. Great moderating. You've done excellently well. And I'd like to thank everyone on the panel. It's been a wonderful evening. For me, it's been a quality. I've heard a lot to take away. Wow, it's without taking much of our time, I will just have one thing to say. It's that now a book can only give, can only be purposeful if it's able to solve problems, if it's able to give answers to problems. Now we've been talking about parenting, we've been talking about families, and earlier on at the beginning of the event, I actually mentioned that some of our challenges is because families don't even know what it is to be happy or what it does to have a happy family. At the end of this webinar, I have been able to take one or two things myself, and basically a child's life, it's like a book, and every experience we're able to give the child actually helps the child to become who they will become in future as adults or as future leaders. So I will just want to ask, for me today, I choose to be purposeful. I choose to raise a purposeful child. What books are we writing? What are we doing? What are we going to be doing differently? Everyone here has spoken, and it's been from Miss Irene Bangwell. She did great justice to a whole lot of the issues this evening. Lara, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the child psychology. Vivian, thank you very much. You did excellently well. Who else? Hajia Samira is not here. Ebuka is not here. Tom is not here as well. Thank you. I appreciate everyone. Mr. B, thank you so much putting this together. This is amazing, really. And I'm sure that for everyone that have questions, one question or the other, we'll take your questions as they come. There's a lady that actually asked for a support system. We have your name. We're going to take your mail and we'll follow up with you to actually support you as much as we can. Please kindly create that, help to share this awareness with everyone. We are all here. You can reach out to any one of the panelists and the moderator, myself, Mr. B, and you can get all the support that you need. Well, on this note, I would like to say thank you once again. Look out for the second episode. We'll be back again, and thank you and have a wonderful evening.
All right, Ms. Josephine, thank you very much, Josephine. Thanks for wrapping it there. Before we close in another 1 to 2 minutes, I would love to share the polls results with us. Basically how everyone has voted and what the outcome is like. I guess we can all, can we see it on our screens? All right, so it says number 1, are you a parent? We have so many parents today, 95% parents attended. We have, is anyone getting government support in the part of the world where we are? Very few people are, so 95% say they are not getting any government support in fulfilling their roles as parents. So for the friends that are in the diaspora, you should thank goodness for your end. Now for the third question, which is in which area are you facing the most challenge? Because we're looking at it that there are people who are facing health challenge and education challenge in their family with the children. Which one is more, or which one is it that is actually giving much of the headache? We've seen that, 15% of parents are having education challenge. Health challenge is about 11%. Just only education challenge is about 11% as well. And just 21% are experiencing no challenge at all. Now, number 4 is about as parent, guardian, or caregiver. Are you currently helping your child with online learning? 84% are doing so. 11% are not doing that, and for 5% of the respondents, someone else is actually doing that for them. Now, for number 5, how have your opinions on homeschooling changed as a result of the coronavirus? Now it's more favorable for about 32%. So coronavirus has actually helped about 32% of the audience. For about 16%, it's somehow more favorable. For 26%, it's less favorable, and for much less favorable is about 26%. Now, for thinking about coronavirus, how concerned are you about cancellation of after-school activities or other programs that run through the school? Quite a lot of parents are very concerned about this. About 53% are concerned about what coronavirus could actually, how it could impact after school activities, because several schools run that program, and it's likely that, that may be impacted. And 53% are very, very concerned about this. 5% are not that concerned. 21% are somehow concerned about that. 21% are not concerned at all. Now, still thinking about Corona and the online classrooms, how concerned are you about the curriculum delivered online? 47% are very concerned. 11% are not concerned as such. Somewhat concerned at 37%. And about 5% are not concerned at all. How concerned are you that the coronavirus situation will have a negative effect on your child's education? 47% are moderately concerned, 37% are very concerned, 16% are not concerned. Now, we're trying to look at how much people budget for data use from time to time, because that is actually a major problem in this part of the world. About 1,000 to 3,000 naira is spent on data by about 32% in a month. 21% spends like about 3,000 to 5,000 naira in a month. 21% spends like about 5,000 to 10,000 naira. Oh wow, 26% spends a lot more than 10,000 naira. So that is actually, the response as regards that. Now, suppose schools closed for the rest of the school year because of the coronavirus. Should they extend the school year? 42% thinks the school year should be extended. 26% think that not extend the school year, but promote students if formal distance learning program completed. 32% think that, okay, not extend the school year, promote students whether or not the formal distance learning program is completed or not. So that is basically the results based on the polls that were taken this evening. So as a wrapping up, I want to thank everyone once again. We will keep doing this. This is series 1 of these program, Collaborating for Success. I thank everyone that has been part of it. Lara, thanks for turning up. Thanks for being part of this conversation. Thanks for the very, very rich contributions you have made. It's been very awesome and very wonderful. I'm actually, I got more than I bargained for personally. Irene, we really want to thank you as well. Someone passed the message to me that they are ready to pay 100 naira for a whole year, So that is awesome. So
Thank you.
Thanks, well, I mean, we really thank you for coming on, and we really thank you for doing this. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I felt wow for myself,
Thank you.
It's awesome what you're doing, and we want to identify with it. We want to connect with it. There are so many other projects that Grandimori runs, and we would want to actually be part of that as well.
Thank you.
We'll see how much we can take this further. Josephine, thanks for making time out as well. Thanks for the support on this program this evening, and it's much appreciated. And thanks for these so many sleepless nights that you've given every one of us. It's ended well, most appreciated. Boss Eddie, plenty thank you to you. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for the moderation. It couldn't have been better. You are so awesome, and we don't know how to thank you. Really, we really don't know how to thank you. We couldn't have done this without you. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Granny Murray. It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. And also, Tom, we really want to appreciate your time as well. We thank you. You're on the road now. We understand that. We appreciate the time you've spent with us. We really appreciate the rich contributions you've made in the discussions as well. The elaboration that you made to most of the questions that have been asked and all of that, it's been awesome. It helped to actually, make the discussion richer, and we really must thank you for that as well. For IGS, Samira, thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time. We really must be. Oh, you're back. we really must show gratitude for the grandmotherliness that you brought to this discussion this evening. We now see that you're really a mother and a grandmother indeed. Thank you so much for the hindsights you provided and the insights that you gave to us as well. Really want to thank Ebuka. Ebuka is back to the streets, ever moving, ever, is everywhere. Even though you cannot afford to travel now, I'm sure you've traveled more in Abuja than you may have traveled around the country or outside the country in the last 60 days. Even under the lockdown, you're a farmer. You're doing everything that actually will help humanity, beyond the fact that you help to teach other people as well, and you help people to learn. We must really appreciate you, and we thank you so much for turning up. Who have I not mentioned? Sorry?
The attendees.
Yeah, the attendees. Wow, I thank everyone. Mrs. Nnamdi, thanks so much for your time here today. We really appreciate your inputs. We appreciate everything. We want to thank Reki Aladan. We want to thank several other parents that have turned up as well. We most appreciate your time. We most appreciate, and we thank you for appreciating this as well. We can't stop doing this. We have to keep doing this. These times that we are in is actually a time that is challenging for everyone. And we have to hit the nail on the head that we must do this, and we must continue doing this. We need to support ourselves. We know that the support structure that we have in this part of the world is not like it exists in other parts of the world. Tom and Lara, I think you guys, you guys are in paradise, compared to what so many of us here are actually experiencing, So we will continue doing this, and we'll try our possible best to sustain it. From the underserved perspective and on-served perspective, and I think I'm actually in for that, because Granny Murray Foundation, which is one of the vehicles that Granny Murray drives, is actually keen on that, because the 83% that Irene that you mentioned is actually very important to the future of every of our children. Without giving attention to that 83%, the 17% will suffer. Just like many of our parents actually, stayed back and wanted every one of us to go to school and become a success. And we all see what is happening today. Our success is limited in whatever we are doing, because we have a whole lot of people out there who actually missed out, in catching up with how we actually, progressed in life, and, and how our parents even, ended up as well. So it's very important that 83% we pay attention to that. The e-learning, we all know what it came about. The e-learning is actually electronic learning, but it came out to turn out as emergency learning for so many of us. And we will try to see how to make sense in that going forward. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we really want to thank you so much for turning up this evening and for making time out to come here and be part of this. We have done this with the parents. Series 2 is coming up. The teachers are very important. We're going to collaborate with the teachers as well. We're going to actually, cooperate with them, and we're going to see how we can coordinate parents and teachers as well as schools and help this whole voice to achieve the results that is actually, how to achieve. Because without the teachers, we would not get anywhere as a school, as parents, as a community, and as a society. They are the ones that actually melts the ice at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have collaborated, we have cooperated, we are going to keep coordinating, and we shall succeed. Thank you very much. This webinar ends now. Have a good night rest, everyone. Bye.